Tonight, we travel far back in time to ancient India, a place where nights were quiet and history moved slowly. This is the Mahabharata, not told as a legend, not told as a story of war, but told calmly, like distant history meant for rest. There is nothing you need to focus on. There is nothing you need to remember. You may simply listen as the words move gently and the night passes. In this place, time was not rushed. Days followed the sun. Nights followed silence. Voices were soft. Lamps burned low. The land rested as this quiet history unfolds. Allow your breathing to slow, your thoughts to fade, and your body to rest. You are safe here. There is nowhere you need to go. Nothing is required of you tonight. Let ancient India settle into silence, and let yourself drift gently into sleep. Tonight, we continue our quiet journey into ancient India, a place where time was not measured by minutes, but by light and shadow and silence. This is the Mahabharata, not told with urgency, not told with excitement, but told slowly, as history once moved. You are not required to follow events. You are not required to remember names. You may simply listen as the night passes. Ancient India was shaped by nature. Wide plains extended beyond sight. The air carried warmth during the day and calm coolness at night. Rivers moved without direction or concern. They flowed because they always had. The Ganga, the Yamuna, and many smaller rivers continued their slow journey, unaware of kingdoms, unaware of stories. Along these rivers stood small villages. Homes were built simply. Walls were made to last, not to impress. Paths were quiet after sunset. At night, lamps burned low, not to brighten the land, but only to soften the darkness. People slept early. The land rested early. Silence was part of daily life. Far from the villages stood cities. One of them was Hastinapura. Hastinapura was a place of governance, but also restraint. It was not filled with noise. It did not demand attention. In the early morning, palace corridors echoed lightly, with footsteps that moved carefully. Stone floors were cool. Pillars stood unchanged for generations. Oil lamps flickered, not brightly, but steadily. The rulers of this city belonged to the Kuru dynasty. This dynasty did not rise quickly, nor did it fall suddenly. It simply continued. One generation followed another. Kings ruled, then stepped aside. Sons listened, then learned. Time was patient. Daily life inside the palace followed a predictable rhythm. Morning prayers were quiet. Voices were low. Breathing was slow. Council meetings lasted long. Not because of argument, but because of careful thought. Silence was allowed to exist between words. Nothing needed to be rushed. As the sun moved higher, shadows shifted slowly across stone walls. By evening, the pace of the city softened. Markets closed without urgency. Doors were shut gently. Families gathered without excitement. Night returned as it always did. Within this royal family lived two branches, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. They were raised together. They studied together. They shared the same space, the same teachers, the same routines. Education was steady. Lessons focused on patience, duty, and balance. There was no need to hurry knowledge. Understanding arrived with time. Days passed quietly. Weeks blended together. Years moved forward without announcement. Far beyond the palace walls lay open land. One such land was Kurukshetra. Before it became known for anything else, it was simply a plain. Wide, flat, silent. At night, the skies stretched endlessly above it. Stars remained unmoving. The wind moved gently, if at all. Tents stood in place, resting. Animals slept. The ground held still. Nothing demanded action. Among those present was Krishna. He did not arrive with urgency. He did not command attention. He spoke slowly, often pausing, allowing silence to settle. His words were about balance, about understanding one's role, about accepting the movement of time. There was no pressure to act, only encouragement to reflect. Night deepened. Lamps dimmed further. Voices faded. The land returned to rest. Rivers continued to flow. Forests remained still. Paths stayed empty. History did not stop, but it did not rush. Ancient India rested, just as it had for centuries. Palaces stood quietly. Cities slept. Villages remained undisturbed. Nothing called for attention. Nothing needed resolution. You are safe here. You are resting. There is nowhere you need to go. There is nothing you need to do. Time will continue on its own. Ancient India sleeps. The rivers flow slowly. The forests stand quietly. The land remains calm. History moves gently, without effort.